Okay, people. Anyway, don't breathe. Fiddling with this camera, right? Okay, so here's the deal. It feels like Uncle John is home. It's almost like he came back home, people. And I'll tell you why that is. But first, it's April 28th. Pretty sure it's the 28th, 2019. Do you see this washing machine? My son just brought this in to me yesterday. Facebook works. I bought it off Facebook. If you notice the make, General Electric Space Maker. And the reason I'm saying that this is like as if Uncle John came home is because in 2003, people, when I lost my house at Wally's, right, because of the BC Liberal government illegally cutting me off of welfare with 5 dependent kids, because they brought in American-style welfare reform, which they redacted a year later, but by that point the damage had already been done for my family. Anyway, when I moved into the apartment from my 5-bedroom house, and then I moved into the apartment, 2-bedroom apartment with Uncle John and my 5 kids, the first thing I did was buy a washing machine. That was the first thing I did. And it was this brand. And this is why it feels like Uncle John is home. Because just about 3 months ago, or whatever it was, mine that I have exactly like this one is out in my yard. Because it worked like a workhorse from 2003 right up until 2000 and pretty much 19. So that's what, like 16 years? 17 years? Worked it like a workhorse. And finally I took it out to the back, and when my son took it out to the back for me, we cut off the electrical cord, right? And I said, do you want to do it? Because, you know, we were taking the washing machine out after having it all these years, and I said, I feel like I'm losing a piece of Uncle John. You know, I want to cry. I was losing my washing machine. Anyway, I missed having my washing machine upstairs. I do better with a washing machine upstairs, right? And so, long story short, I'm looking online. I discover Facebook, you know, that little sell stuff, Facebook marketplace. And it dawned on me to look around for some wash machines, because to buy a good new one, you're looking at $900, right? Where at the time when I bought this one, I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was one of the more top of the line. And anyway, I got this for $100, right? $100, people. It's better shape than what I had, that's for sure. After working mine for so many years, and so I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to use it today in the next hour, and like I'm so excited, right? But it feels like Uncle John has come back home. So I just wanted to point that out. So hold on a minute. Okay. So now I'm back. Talk about improvisers. When I got the machine yesterday, I got it with just a standard hose. Only with my machine, I was using an attachment that went right to my sink. The only problem with that, though, is I can attach it onto here. It leaks here. I tried to silicone it. But anyway, but the part that drains, that should go down in here, I can't get this thing off. Plus, I think that is wider than what I've actually got for mine. So, what I've done is I screwed this back on and left this, because I couldn't pull it out, right? And I don't want to break it, right? So I left the hose there, but I added mine in there to fill it up, because the one here to use to fill it up, I don't have the attachment for the sink. I don't want to wait. So anyway, labor of love. But I'm a little nervous. See, it would normally drain into there from the machine, but so I should be able to turn this on. There we go. You can hear it. And then I should be able to turn this on. Oh my God, people, this is like Uncle John being home. Honest to God. But this one's in much better shape than mine, because I worked mine like a workhorse for over 16 years. A nice, quiet Christian woman apparently had this. That's what my son said. She was a nice Christian woman. You know, obviously not too stressed out with kind of the things that I've gone through over the years. So anyway, maybe she didn't have 5 kids, whatever. And then we go into warm. You ready? Oh yes, this one likes the lid closed. Hold on. That's like magic. Sounds like music to my ears. So now I'm going to fill it up. I'm going to wash clothes. And then when it drains, instead of going out through my hose, it will go out through the hose that it's attached to. Only thing is, I'll have to hang on to it, right? So it doesn't pop off. That used to be, and it's funny, really, because back in the day, right, before I had this one, Uncle John used to stand there and hold the hose in the apartment, right, to make sure it wouldn't pop off. Or when we moved in here, right, and it was draining into the kitchen sink, you know, he used to stand here and make sure that it wouldn't overflow. So, oh, I'm so happy. Okay. So what's happening now is, if you can see, when I turn on the water, it's dripping like crazy right there. Here, I already know, so I just did that for now. But then I thought that solved the problem, but then I noticed this is it. This is this. So I can either use that, which I don't know about, because it might, I'm not sure, but this would screw on. This is what I would use for the pond, right? So, because technically this shouldn't be doing this with this little stopper on here. So, alright. Something's obviously stripped, right? So I'm thinking to maybe put the other one on. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I just switched them around. This is technically the cold water cap, right? And it looks really, really clean. So, no, there you do. You see that? It's leaking again. So if I was to go like this, what would happen, people? What do you think? Do you think that will stop it? It might need a washer. Hold on a minute. Oh, there we go. What I'm afraid is it going back into the machine, but it shouldn't because it's leaking out, right? So far that seems to be working. Maybe that's why she didn't want it. It was leaking too much for her and she couldn't figure it out. Or maybe after how many years she owned this, because like I said, I bought mine in 2013. Or sorry, 2003, and we're in 2019, so I owned mine for 16 years, people. Okay? Right? So that seems to be working. So I'm just going to move this off the floor and see if it comes out from underneath it. Right? Hold on. We'll see if anything leaks out from underneath it. Okay. You don't know how annoying this camera is. So anyway, I have to buy a bunk bed before I buy another camera, people. So when you open the lid, it stops, right? But that's fine. And then when you put it back down, it continues on with the cycle, right? It's still filling up, and you can hear it starting to agitate. For me, that sounds like music. Okay? It's not leaking since I've done that. Oops. Since I've done that, well, maybe a little bit. It would probably just need a washer, right? It just needs a washer. So, I'll find a washer. And now I'm going to put some clothes in. But it will stop. Look at that. Isn't it just beautiful? Okay. So far, so good. $100 for the machine. what happened to mine is my pump went on it, right? Because I owned it for 16 years and I raised 5 kids with it and worked on a non-profit and just moved into this house, people. So I changed the pump, I think, 2 times. The last time I changed the pump was pretty much when Uncle John was medically kidnapped, right? And anyway, it blew out the first part of end of 2018, January of 2019, somewhere around that time. And versus getting the pump changed again, and plus my screens were just whatever, I just said, I said to my son, I think it's time to let this go. Maybe I should buy a new one. But then after we cut the cord, we said our goodbyes to Uncle John because we felt like we were losing a family member, right? Because we owned this machine for so long. And so anyway, what do you call it? I'm looking online and they want like $900 and by the time you do tax, and I don't want to buy a cheap model, right? Because that will defeat the purpose, right? I could have gotten this fixed for if I wanted to do that. And then I discovered Facebook Marketplace. And yeah, sure enough, there was one lady that was going to sell one like this for $200 because I know the brand, General Electric, and I've owned the machine myself for 16 years. That's a long time, people. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of loads, right? And this thing is capable of washing queen-size, double-size quilts. All right? So, for an apartment-sized wash machine, that's pretty good, right? And so anyway, I let her know I wanted it, and then at first I asked if it was still available. She said yes, and I said, okay, well, I'd like to buy it because, And then she sends me a note back saying, well, I've been evicted from my place, and I don't think I'm going to sell it now. And I said, oh, okay, well, let me know. And I was so disappointed, right? And then not even within a week later, this one popped up for even less money, $100, right? And, take as is. And I said, well, as long as it works, I want it. So I paid my son's friend $50 to go pick it up because he has a truck, right? So the whole thing cost me $150. And I am so happy. You can hear it. This is exactly the way it sounds. This is exactly the way mine would sound if mine was here. Only this one's in better shape. Right? So we'll come back when it's spinning. Hold on. Or when it's draining. Hold on. Okay. So speaking of noise, mine didn't quite sound like that. No, not every car sounds the same either, right? And this machine, like I said, I bought mine in 2003. Okay, so I don't know when this lady bought hers and how much she used it. Not nearly as much as I used mine, that's for sure. But, that could be nothing, right? So hold on. Okay, so what happened was Tisha came up. So I got all panicky because she wanted me to get on Amari. So anyway, I turned it off. So now what we're going to do, we want to spin it down. Because you want to make sure everything works, right? You can see. All right. Oh, this camera. It should drain. Hold on. I'm afraid to let it go. I tried to brace it up with these here just in case it pops out because I don't know. Right? This is where Uncle John used to hold it for me before we got the other attachment. Right? Because as you can see, my sink can fill up. So even when we got the attachment... Sorry, people, it's this camera. This camera's got to go. Right? Got my thumb on it where it connects. But right now it seems to be draining okay. Not stressing me out there. Let's see if it's leaking down here. Anything leaking? Nope. Nothing leaking. This seems to be holding up okay. I tightened it a bit more. My hand's completely dry. So we're rocking here. So I guess it's a little feature on General Electric appliances, which I highly recommend that people invest in. Seriously, right? Because if I didn't believe in this particular wash machine, knowing what I know is in terms of how old this wash machine is and what it's capable of doing, I wouldn't have bought it, right? They don't make these ones anymore. They need to. They need to because they're really, really good. So now we should be going into a spin cycle. So hopefully that's what it's doing in there. If I lift up the lid, it's going to stop. And I don't want to break its cycle. So hold on. Okay, it's kind of like jiggling around now. Right? You can hear it. Can you hear it, people? Sounds like music. Oh, Uncle John is home. This brings back memories like the good old days, people. It's like the good old days. Okay, so it works. What I like about a top loader, I guess that's what you call them, is you can adjust the time, how long you want to spin, how long you want to rinse, how long you want to soak, if you want to wash twice over, right? You can do, you want to add in something later, right? So this is like old school, right? You have to remember, people, I came up in a time when my mother, I started doing laundry in the old wringer washers, where if you got your hand stuck in the roller, your hand would go with the roller, right? And then along came the Hoover with the little spin tub on beside it, right? The little, they were called Hoovers, right? Anyway, so now that I've kind of basically spun it out, but I broke its cycle, all you do is, and it's simple, right? You just turn it on, and now we're going to go into a rinse cycle. Although I like to rinse twice, right? I don't have to worry too much about this jumping out because I've already seen that. And then because now I've done basic wash, even though it's on warm, it's going through cold on the tap, right? And then we just start, and then, yeah, you can hear. Picking up speed. It's singing to me, people. Right? Obviously doing its job. I don't know what's clanging in there. That's okay though. It's spinning nice. Just the hose was making something clang. I moved the hose. If you notice, it stopped. Like the good old days, like Uncle John would say. Okay, so far so good. Now, that clanging was just the hose, right? Up against whatever it was, I guess, on the bottom, on the side of the, hitting the metal on the side of the wash machine. Because when I moved the hose, it stopped, right? Anyway, the thing about this, it had 5 more minutes to spin, but I don't need to spin again or spin for 5 minutes, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rinse it, people. I'm going to rinse it and then put the Downy in there and rinse it twice, right? So I rinsed it once already, washed it, rinsed it, cut it off at 5 minutes in the spin, put it down, start again. All right, go back into rinse. Extra large, it's a full load. And then do it one more time. When the water fills up, lift up the lid, put your Downy in there, push your hand around so it gets nicely spread around, and you're good to go. Okay, so this is one of these God is good moments, considering this came from a cute little Christian lady. That's what my son said, right? So, hold on, people.